The last thing I wanted to talk to you about inverse functions is how do I verify given a function and its inverse? How do I verify that they belong together, that they really are inverses of each other? So there's a test we can do, and what we do is we compose the original function with its inverse, and then we take the inverse function and compose it with its original, and if both those values are equal to x, then that means that these functions are inverses of each other. So let me give you an example. So our original function was f of x equals to x over 6 plus 4. And we also found that the inverse function, we found that it was 6 times x minus 4. That's what we had found. Okay, so let's go ahead and check if they are really inverses, if I didn't make a mistake, and this is one way to check. Okay, so first I'm going to do f of f inverse of x, and I'm going to do that and check if I get x. So f of f inverse of x means to take the function and evaluate it for its inverse. So I'm going to evaluate it with 6 times x minus 4. Okay, so I'm going to take the original function. Here's the original function, and anywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug in the inverse. So let me do that. Anywhere there's an x, here's x, so that means that I'll have a box wherever there's an x where I'm going to write the inverse, and that whole thing is divided by 6 and then added to 4. So what I have here is I can cancel 6 and 6 and make a 1, so I'm left with x minus 4 in the top of the numerator plus 4. If I remove parentheses, this becomes x minus 4 plus 4. That cancels out and makes 0, and I get x. So far, so good. That's what I want to get. I want an x when I compose the function with its inverse. Now I have to do the other way around and see if I get x also. Okay, so now I'm going to do the inverse of f of x. So that means I'm going to take the inverse function and I'm going to evaluate it with the original function. Okay, so I'm going to write the inverse function here, which is f inverse of x is 6 times x minus 4. And anywhere there's an x, I'm going to plug in x over 6 plus 4. So that means 6 times, and inside this parentheses there's an x, so I'm going to draw a little box, minus 4. And inside that box I'm going to write f of x. So in here I'm going to write x over 6 plus 4. So let's expand this a little bit, and what I really have is 6 parentheses x over 6 plus 4 minus 4. 4 and 4 cancel out to make 0, so you're left with 6 times x over 6. This 6 and this 6 cancel out to make a 1, and you're left with x. So here you have finished the checking. You found that the inverse of f of x is equal to x, and also that f of the inverse of f of x is also equal to x. And when that happens, when they're both equal to the identity function, this means that f of x equal to x over 6 plus 4 and f inverse of x, which is 6 times x minus 4, are inverses of each other. Okay? So whenever you need to verify if two functions are inverses of each other, you compose them. just like what I did here. Here's some practice for you to do. I want you to do these 3 problems in your notebook and we'll discuss them in class. It says find the inverse. Is the inverse a function? Verify that it's an inverse by composing, okay? So these 3 problems in your notebook and we'll discuss them later. I hope you understood this video. If you didn't, hit rewind and watch again. Have fun. I'll see you in class.